So basically, when you want to push yourself and you feel like something is kind of impossible, you have right
Mhm.
here, this is like what's most possible.
Mhm.
Oh, this is cool. I'm just going to use a abbreviation. All right. And then this is kind of like the fence around everything, like you're around your internal self. Like, you know how you put
Mhm.
up boundaries and you limit yourself and all those things.
Mhm.
So this is what's most possible. And then as you go out this way, this is less. Ah, that's ugly. But you get the point. That's less possible, like less possible. Then you go outside your, like, so it's like, oh, this is really possible. If we're giving an example, like I can cook macaroni and cheese, okay, out of the
Mhm.
box. But then less possible is like me, making, let's say, pasta with chicken and vegetables and cooking all that. That seems a little bit less possible to me. And then what seems mostly impossible is like me physically making my own pasta, let's say, right? And
Mhm.
you're like, I can't do that. That's like a chef. That's like, no, I can't do that. No way. It's just as an example. So it's kind of like the impossible is really like what's way outside of your fence out here. This is
Mhm.
you. And then this is less possible. This is most possible. So like with working out, what would you say is like impossible? Like that you would put out here on your diagram.
Um, I think most possible would probably be like walking or like doing the stairs or whatever.
Okay, write that down.
Okay.
Figure this tool out. So like walking like out in the neighborhood,
Mhm.
that seems pretty possible. Going up, doing the stairs, that's you've done that before. That's pretty good.
Mhm.
And then what would be like something that would seem, is there any other things that you feel like are super possible for you?
Uh, not really.
Right, let's leave that. So then less possible, something that might stretch you a little more, like you think you could still do it, but it would be like, oh, I don't know if I could do that kind of workout. What would that be?
Going to the gym, most
Okay.
likely, and like doing like push-ups or pull-ups or whatever.
So going to the gym and doing like specific exercises.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, remember you were talking about at some point that you were doing something like, weren't you doing some videos, some sort of workout videos?
I was, yeah.
Where would you put them?
I think those are is there they're most possible because I can do them inside, but I'm not real
Okay.
my body isn't really used to Pilates. If that makes sense.
Well, we could put videos, and you don't have to do the videos every day, but that's something that you could feel like is possible at this point. Even if it's
Mhm.
15 or 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair. Anything
Mhm.
else seem less possible? Like the gym, the specific exercises, things like that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Now, what would you put out here that's like impossible? Like, no way.
Probably weights. I'm not good with weights.
Okay, let's put weights out here.
Like weightlifting or whatever.
Got it. Now, do you ever notice like maybe sometimes I talk to you and it might not be me, it might be someone else, and I push you to do something like, hey, what about going to the gym? Just go a couple times a week. Do you ever feel like either your brain or me or somebody else kind of like pushes you out like past this fence, what that feels uncomfortable to you?
Not really.
No. So you're basically just like, I need to be pushed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So do you notice like that these are some rules that you put into place for your thoughts, beliefs on your ability to stay fit?
Mm-hmm.
Like what rules did you put? Like how are you restricting yourself by this diagram here
Like with
with
exercising?
just with exercise specifically.
Um, I don't really have rules, if that makes sense.
Well, okay, so let me frame it. Can you potentially, whether you think you're good at it or not, can you lift weights? Can you pick up a weight and do something with it?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Can you physically get to the gym somehow and do some sort of exercise?
Yep.
Yep. And can you walk and watch videos and do stairs?
Yep.
Yeah, like you have two arms, two legs, you can do this. Do you think you're doing it to your full potential as best as you can? That's another story. But so essentially, you can do all of this. Could all of these items be in the most possible circle over here?
I think most of the time I don't want to get out of the house because I like to be comfortable when I'm doing stretches or whatever, and I
Mhm.
don't like people seeing me, if that makes sense or whatever.
Mhm. And
Um,
frankly, whether you go to the gym or not, as long as you're getting activity, doesn't matter to me personally. But
mhm,
just by you saying that, do you notice how, and I'm not saying you have to go to the gym and be comfortable just because we do this exercise, but you see how that's kind of like you putting up a rule, like I work out at home only,
mhm,
like a subconscious rule. I don't work out in front of others, right?
mhm,
And I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not pushing you to do that at this moment, but just to be aware of that, right?
mhm.
Okay. So like so are there any other, maybe you don't want to call them rules, but there are any other thoughts you have behind working out, let's say?
I always procrastinate doing it.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
really, yeah.
So okay. So we could even put, um, like most possible with procrastination and motivation. So let's say like, it feels impossible right now to go to a physical gym, right? Like that's not
Mhm,
happening.
mhm.
So you don't want to leave the house, you want to do that. Fine. So as far as like getting yourself to do it, what would you think would be like an impossible goal for working out? Would like time wise or how many times a week or what would seem like way too much if I were to suggest it?
Um, Probably all days of the week for at least 2 to 3 hours.
Okay, so this is impossible. 2 to 3 hours every day. Got it. Now, what would be less um, possible here? What would seem a little more probable?
Mm, maybe 3 days a week, and then like the 2 hours.
Okay, 3 days. Oh, my pen. 2 hours. All right. And then what would seem most possible?
Um, Probably, well, 2 days, like 2 days
Got
a
it.
week.
Got it.
Um, and I'm gonna go like an hour and a half.
Fair enough. That's good. So now, could you see how you kind of, if you were thinking about it before, like you'd have to go every day and be this super fit human. Now, does
Mm-hmm.
it seem a little more possible? Like if you were to pick 2 days a week to do an hour, that would be something that you could say like, yeah, I got that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in addition to this, because you said it was hard to like, you procrastinated the motivation, what would be the outcome or the purpose or the reason behind why you want to work out?
Um, I guess I just want to look better.
Okay. So if you were to think, is it impossible, would you say something like ripped abs and 5% body fat? Does that feel like impossible?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not
And
doing
that's
that.
and I know you and that's not your outcome, right? Less
Yeah.
possible. Let's say, I don't know, lose 50 pounds. You don't need to lose 50 pounds. We're just making up something. But here, what would be most possible for an outcome for you? And it doesn't have to be losing weight, it doesn't have to be, but like how would you want to feel or what would you want to look like? You say look better. Like what would be like a feasible like I'm really motivated to do this because I really feel that I can achieve X. So what do you think if you went 2 days a week, say for the next month, what would you feel like you would be able to achieve in that time?
Well, there's not much you can do if I'm only there for an hour and a half, but I guess just losing like the extra fat that's on my body, I guess. I don't know. Um yeah.
Could you say something like you would want to see a change in the amount of like muscle versus body fat you have?
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and do you think if you keep thinking about how, that change and how it feels, like, does it feel good for you to think about yourself having like more muscle, less body fat? Does it like feel awesome?
Mhm.
So when you go to the gym, let's say you go, today's Wednesday, let's say you go Friday and then you go Sunday, let's just say. Do you
Mhm.
think you potentially may want to go more just because you have that good feeling when you're there and when you're thinking about yourself transforming?
I guess.
Well, I don't know. Maybe not. I'm just thinking like if you envision yourself now, this is what you look like. I think you're gorgeous. You might have other thoughts, I know, but you know, I think we both know you're beautiful. And then you are looking a certain way, like your body's where it is right now. Let's say a
Mhm.
month from now, if you could envision your body being slightly different, like think about it. You don't have to say it out loud, but like, can you see how you'd want it to look?
Mhm.
Okay. So, so I guess looking at this, what kind of mindset thing would you have to do? What do you have to take action on? And what kind of actual physical going to the gym do you have to take action on? What are like two things that you can pull from this conversation?
Mm, I mean, I guess just keeping in mind what I want to happen, and it's not going to just happen by sitting down and doing nothing. But like actually, even if it's like small baby steps, it could potentially do a lot.
And frankly, if you do the video for 20 minutes and then you do the stairs for 20 minutes 2 days and you didn't do an hour, is that still progress?
Mhm.
Exactly. And maybe it's more motivating to do a shorter period of time. Maybe you like doing an hour, you know?
Mhm.
So it's just about actually showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like when you were going outside and you were doing like workouts, you actually physically felt better, but also like you would come in to talk to me and not that you're in a bad mood or anything now, but you would be like so excited. Like
Yeah.
because your like blood is moving and you're just getting yourself going. And I think it's
Mhm.
super important for you because you're home all day, which is a good thing. Like that was a great shift for you. But it's also, I'm in the same boat with you now working from home. I have to, like I've told you before, I have to force myself to like go walk outside, go do, sometimes just walk around, like you're saying, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah. And I think stepping into that energy, like of like fit Jill or in shape Jill or whatever you want to call her, like, and again, you have a pretty good sense of your body and you're not looking to go crazy with it. You just want to improve it, you know?
Mhm.
I like that. I like that. So what are we going to do? We're going to do thinking, you kind of said like think thoughts of like what I want the outcome to be, realizing that it's not going to happen overnight. And then
Mhm.
what are you going to commit to do? Like, what are you committing to yourself that you're going to do moving forward as far as exercise is concerned?
Um, spending like less time on my phone and actually, if I'm gonna spend time on my phone, at least put in like headphones and go walk or something.
That's,
Um,
mhm. That's genius. So when you're putting on YouTube or you're putting on your, books or whatever you're listening to,
mhm.
there you go. Then it's like killing two birds with one stone.
Yep.
Yep. And I mean, frankly, that could be part of your motivation. Like I get to listen to X when I walk.
Yeah.
So it's like you could only listen to it when you make another like almost like a good rule for yourself, right?
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Mhm.
What do you think you're going to choose to listen to? Like, what would be probably one of your most motivating or two of your most motivating things you would listen to?
I don't listen to audiobooks, so I would probably just music.
Yeah, we know that you do not listen to audiobooks. That's for sure. You just read them. But yeah, like specific, and sometimes people like to make playlists. Like there's certain 5 songs that I just love, and they just like I'm obsessed with them and they make me feel good. So I just keep over and over again listening to those. Or you just listen to whatever you want.
Mhm.
How are you feeling?
I'm good.
Do you feel like you potentially might do this today or tomorrow? When do you think of like your first action towards this would be?
Well, probably Friday. Hopefully, if my brother's feeling better, my mom's feeling better, because I have a massive headache right now. But um,
I think
yeah,
Friday's a good plan.
yeah,
And that can give you time tomorrow to like get a playlist ready. It's kind of like just make it more fun. It's kind of like when you go somewhere, like when you're going to youth group, it's like you put on your makeup, you get dressed up. It's just like using it as the same kind of thing. Like you're not going to get dressed up, but you're going to get your music ready.
yeah.
I like that. I like that. I feel good about this. How do you feel?
You're good.
Do you feel as if, and I know you haven't done it yet, it potentially could be more possible? Like you might be able to do it twice a week and that you may even push yourself and do it three
Yeah.
times. I think
Mhm.
so. I think so. I think you were on a good kick a couple weeks ago doing some working out and then you kind of dipped and now we're getting back there again.
Mhm.
I think it's really good for you. That's awesome. So what else is new?